All right, what's going on, everyone? Seth here, registered dietitian. And recently we lost a legend in the bodybuilding world. Albert Beckles passed away, and the guy was kind of a longevity freak in the world of bodybuilding. When you hear about bodybuilders dropping over in their 30s and 40s and 50s, Albert lived until his mid-90s. The guy competed in over 100 professional competitions, with his best placing in 1985 taking second to Lee Haney at the age of 55, which is just insane, and no one has come close to doing anything like that since. Now, his training methods are really interesting. Like a lot of guys back from earlier time periods, he trained in the morning and the evening, training his full body every day. In fact, I've got his book Peak Physique right here, which is, I think, a play on words because he had some of the best bicep peaks in history. And these books used to sell for pennies, and nowadays you can hardly find them. They're kind of like collector's items, and they're worth like a lot of money. I don't know, it's really weird. But this video isn't about his training. I want to dig into his nutrition, which is also interesting and a little unique. So let's see what we can uncover about Albert's longevity, fitness, and health by focusing on his nutrition and what he put into his body. Throughout most of Albert's career, he followed what's called a polo-vegetarian diet. It's kind of a semi-vegetarian diet. He completely avoided red meat and pork products, but he still ate chicken, fish, dairy, and egg to go along with fruits, vegetables, and occasionally starches or carbohydrates like rice. Now, that diet sounds very similar to a diet that's kind of popular today called the Mediterranean diet, which is known to promote health and longevity. In fact, there was a 25-year-long study on the Mediterranean diet. It tracked 25,000 women, and they found that those who strictly followed a Mediterranean diet had up to 23% lower risk of dying from all causes. The researchers noticed reduced insulin resistance, lower inflammation, and decreased body mass index. And a Harvard Healthy Aging study analyzed over 10,000 women, discovering that those that maintained a Mediterranean-style diet were 46% more likely to live past the age of 70 without developing major chronic diseases. Something else interesting about Beckles' approach is that early in his career, he followed a traditional bulking cutting split where he would bulk up in the off season and then cut down into a show. But he found that when he bulked up, after cutting back down, he really hadn't built much more muscle than when he started. But he felt like he would lose progress having to diet for so long coming into a competition. So he cut out the bulking cutting routine and he stuck to more of a maintaining or a lean gains approach when it came to building muscle in the off season. And this was likely key to his longevity as well. It's no secret that bodybuilders take lots of different PEDs to boost their muscle mass and performance, and some of the side effects that go along with those are increased blood pressure, increased LDL lipids, and significant strain on your cardiovascular system, as well as your kidneys, your liver, pretty much your whole body. So by avoiding the bulk up in the off season, which puts even more strain on all those systems, Albert really did himself a favor when it came to his health, probably made managing the side effects of the PEDs he was taking a lot more effective. So I mentioned PEDs were really responsible for skewing the lipid profile, increasing LDL, decreasing HDL, and that's critical because if you're bulking up in the off season, letting yourself get fat, and you're eating lots of red meat, which is filled with saturated fat also increases your cholesterol levels. You're really compounding the problem that a lot of bodybuilders face, and it's no surprise that a lot of them die from heart disease. So you have PEDs increasing your cholesterol, you have bulking up in the off season increasing your cholesterol, and if you're eating lots of red meat, also increasing your cholesterol. That's just a recipe for disaster. All of those things are going to increase plaque buildup in the arteries, block blood flow, and really only bad things can happen from there. But Albert completely eliminated two of those things, and obviously that was very effective for him when it came to living a longer life and being healthy. All right, so what are the takeaways from Albert Beckles' career in bodybuilding and his longevity and health? Well, I think number one has to be consistency. This guy trained every day. I mean, you can find clips on the internet of him well into his 70s, 80s, and 90s training in the gym. He never stopped. He followed a healthy diet every day, and he was a machine when it came to his consistency. He eliminated the bulking and cutting. He stayed lean year-round. He eliminated red meat and pork, so he avoided a lot of the things that can cause chronic disease as you get a little bit older. So that's going to wrap up this breakdown. I hope you found some value in it. If you did, feel free to subscribe along to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.